It's 8 in the evening, you sit down, your dog walks over, turns 3 small circles, and drops to the floor against your feet. And then that sound. The long, slow exhale through the nose, the kind that seems to come from somewhere deeper than the lungs.
You've heard it 1,000 times. You've probably smiled at it without thinking. Maybe you've even said, out loud, to an empty room, "I know, buddy, long day." But here is the question almost no one ever stops to actually ask. What is that sound? Not what it sounds like. What it is. Because researchers who spent years studying the canine sigh found something that completely contradicts what every dog owner assumes it means. And once you understand what your dog is actually doing in that exhale, you will never hear it the same way again. This is the story of one small sound, one breath repeated a few times a day in nearly every home with a dog in it, and what it took scientists decades to actually understand about what it means.
Part 1, the assumption everyone makes and why it's only half right. Ask any dog owner what a sigh means and you will get roughly the same answer every time. Contentment. Relaxation. The sound of a good day ending well. And that answer is not wrong. It is just incomplete in a way that turns out to be the whole story.
For years, researchers studying canine vocalizations treated the sigh as a single behavior with a single meaning, the way a bark or a growl might be cataloged. But when scientists at universities studying dog cognition began recording sighs across hundreds of dogs in hundreds of different contexts and analyzing not just when the sighs occurred, but the physiological state of the dog in the moments before and after, a pattern emerged that the simple contentment explanation could not account for. Dogs were sighing after moments of deep relaxation, yes. But they were also sighing after moments of mild disappointment. After a toy was put away. After a walk ended. After a person they were excited to see turned out to be heading somewhere without them. The sigh, it turned out, was not one behavior. It was a single physical action being used by the dog's nervous system for 2 very different emotional purposes. And the only way to tell them apart was not the sound itself, but everything happening around it.
Part 2, what a sigh actually is, the discovery that changed everything app. A sigh, physiologically, is not just a deep breath.
It is a very specific kind of breath, roughly twice the volume of a normal inhale, followed by a slow, extended exhale. And it originates from a tiny cluster of neurons in the brainstem that researchers nicknamed, almost affectionately, the Sigh Center. This cluster exists in humans. It exists in dogs. It almost certainly exists in some form in every mammal that breathes through lungs. Here is what that Sigh Center actually does. Deep in your lungs, and your dog's lungs, are millions of tiny air sacs called alveoli, where oxygen passes into the blood. Over time, especially during shallow or steady breathing, these alveoli can begin to collapse, just slightly, the way a balloon that's been at low pressure for a while starts to lose its shape. A sigh is the body's reset button. That extra large breath reinflates the collapsed alveoli all at once, restoring full lung function in a single motion. This means, at the most basic biological level, every sigh, yours, your dog's, anyone's, exists to fix something happening inside the body. It is maintenance. It is the lungs being quietly reset. But here is where it gets genuinely fascinating. Researchers discovered that the same brainstem circuit that triggers this physical reset is directly wired into the parts of the brain that regulate emotional state, specifically the transition between tension and release, which means a sigh is not just a lung reset.
It is also simultaneously a nervous system reset. And that dual function is exactly why the same sound can mean 2 completely different things. Part 3, ending past the 2 sighs and how to finally tell them apart. The first kind of sigh is the one you already know.
Your dog settles onto the floor, body fully loose, eyes drifting half closed. And the sigh that follows is the physical signature of a nervous system completing its transition from active to at rest. This is the sigh of release, the tension of the day, whatever small alertness a dog carries through hours of watching, listening, existing in a world it does not fully control, finally lets go, and the sigh is the sound of that letting go completing itself. The second kind of sigh sounds almost identical, but it happens in a completely different context, after a toy is taken away, after you stand up to leave the room, after the leash goes back on the hook instead of in your hand. This is the sigh of mild frustration or disappointment, sometimes called in the research literature a negative affect sigh. It is the same biological reset mechanism, triggered not by relaxation, but by the small emotional deflation of an expectation not being met. The body, even in mild disappointment, still needs to reset, and the sigh is how it does it. The difference between the two is almost never in the sound itself. It is in everything around it. A relaxation sigh comes with a fully loose body, soft half-closed eyes, and a settling weight, the dog getting smaller and heavier against the floor. A disappointment sigh comes with a stiffer body, a held gaze toward whatever was just lost, and often a slightly raised head rather than a fully lowered one.
Once you know to look for the difference, you will never confuse the two again, and you will realize your dog has been telling you with total clarity which one it was the entire time. Part 4, why this matters more than it seems. Here is the quietly extraordinary part. Your dog cannot tell you, in words, whether the end of this moment feels like peace or like loss.
It does not have access to language for either, but it has this one breath, shaped by millions of years of mammalian biology, repurposed by evolution into something close to emotional punctuation. A way of marking the end of something, of saying, in the only sentence available to it, that's done now. And the fact that you can learn to tell the two apart means something. It means the sigh is not just a sound you've been hearing. It is a sentence you can now read. The body and the breath together, forming a complete, honest report on how your dog is actually experiencing the moment that just ended. Not guessed at, not assumed, read. The next time your dog sighs, you will not just hear it. You will know in that instant whether you are listening to contentment completing itself or to a small disappointment quietly passing through.
Either way, you will understand something true about your dog that, until this moment, you only ever assumed. So tonight, when you sit down and your dog walks over, turns its small circles, and settles against your feet, listen for it, that long, slow exhale. And this time, look at the body it comes from. Is it loose and heavy and complete? That's relaxation finishing its work.
Is it stiffer, the head still raised, the eyes still fixed on something just out of reach? That's a small disappointment passing through and out, the only way it knows how. Either way, your dog just told you something true. It always has. You just didn't have the sentence for it until now. If this changed how you'll hear that sound tonight and every night after, please hit like. It genuinely helps more people find this channel.
And if you want to keep learning your dog's language, the next video covers something just as quietly extraordinary. The hidden meaning behind every tail wag, and a 2007 discovery about left versus right that will change what you think you know. Go listen for it tonight. You'll hear it differently now. You always will, from here on.